how I came close to the Tamil issue. It was my own JNU days, and I myself, being coming from socialistic background, I was looking for opportunities. So I came to the residence of George Fernandez, and he never used to have gate in his house. So there was no gate, there was no security guard and all. So I went there, being a JNUite, you know how comrade acts to other comrade. But then there was something different charm in George Fernandez himself. Though he is gone, but he is remembered for his fiery spirit, that is the patriotic spirit. So I will just come, like being an assistant professor, I have told time and again my class, my art historical lecture on especially on Chola bronzes, or I have taken classes on Pallava architecture, art and all, but I will just speak certain things of George Fernandez which came very close to me. Being at his residence, how much I learned from him. So one of the contexts was he was always surrounded by certain Tamilian people who were seeking refuge either in India or with the help of United Nations, that the UNHCR rehabilitation center was not only in Delhi but also in Chennai. So there were always certain people seeking the help of former defense minister of India. So I was always there because I started documenting a lot of things of him. I came with one of the context, and that is for all the BJP people here to listen, like how wonderful is this context. And that is also, you must have heard about Karan Thapar. He's a very charming person, always on camera, taking this Devil's Advocate program, which is well known. So what is happening? It is a time of Bajpayee ji in government. Advani ji was the most powerful person at that point of time, holding the post of Deputy Prime Ministership as well as Home Ministership. What happened with him? He was quite in trouble those days because he was trying to get in contact with Prabhakaran. The very context is in lot of textbook. Advani ji for 3 days, for the whole 3 days, he tried the whole bureaucratic circle of India. He tried all the political establishment of India to get in touch with Prabhakaran, to have a phone call with Prabhakaran ji. For almost 3 days, all his passion, all his fire, all his energy was wasted. He was sitting in his north block, and then suddenly Karan Thapar, as usually, he walked into the north block, asking Advani ji that why are you so nervous today? So he stated that from last 3 days, I am trying to get in touch with Prabhakaran, yet I am unable to do so. Using all the machinery, using ambassador, using all the machinery, I have failed myself. Karan Thapar then told him that, oh, that is the task. Can you walk from North Block to Defense Ministry, sir? Can you walk with me? He said, certainly I can walk with you. Though he didn't walk, certainly he used his cavalcade. He went to the Defense Ministry. George Sahab was already sitting there with all his crumpled kurta and like his own style, very like windy kind of hair, unruly hair. Karan Thapar, Advani ji stated, George Sahab, that we are trying to get Prabhakaran ji on phone call. And we have wasted our 3 to 4 days in doing that. George Sahab said, oh, that's quite a wasteful of time. He just connected Prabhakaran on single call. So that's the power, that's the majesty. And moment of a single call, Advani ji was having telephonic conversation with Prabhakaran. So that's the socialistic charm which comes from Bajpayee era. Now here is something which I wanted to state because we have great George Fernandez friends here. They will narrate better story than me. But then I really wanted to salute the whole fiery Tamil spirit, not only because of the political statement, like the political things, but also I think mostly people are hated for their achievement, not because of their failures. So if you go deep into the Tamil culture, especially with the art history thing, which I usually dwell with, I have told lot of times to my own students in university that when it comes to metallic history, that is to say when it comes to the great bronze items, everywhere, not a single civilization in the whole world has ever created anything that sort which you have created in bronze. That the very piece of Nataraja in itself is so excellent that not a single part of the world has ever created any product like that. Like you can see the craftsmanship, you can see the artistic achievement, you can see the whole art, dance, everything which goes with it. So I will just convey certain thing which is very which is problematic as well. So when we have government in transition, you have to see that how much they have given, like especially coming from Jammu and Kashmir. I must say that I myself is facing lot of problem while having classes, while having Kashmiri immigrants. It's very painful to be immigrant, to be refugee in your country, in your own country. It is not others' country, it is your own. And then being an immigrant, being a refugee, being being something, you are asking for shelter, you are asking for home, you are asking for the same privilege that other Indians are having in your own soil. It is very painful, and it somehow it starts reflecting in your own work. So while reading Ceylon or Sri Lanka history, you will also get to know about a great personality, that is Anand K. Kumaraswamy. Like not a single Sinhalese or of Indian like has ever compared to the scholarship that Anand K. Kumaraswamy has, especially when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to arts, when it comes to art history, or when it comes to any Sanskritic thing. The way that great intellectual, whatever he has stated, whatever he has written, it becomes a preamble for us. Like it really doesn't matter whether it is India or any part of the world, his name and his syllabus is always referred with high reverence. So I just wanted to say that the political establishment must need to cultivate all these great ideas, and especially when like Bajpayee ji is gone, but his legacy is alive. So it is the responsibility of like younger generation. Annamalai ji is here. I really like admire your fiery spirit and youthful spirit, but sir, being in government, making a statement like at certain point of time is just for the youthful clappings. But you people should work for the plights of Tamilians. That must be on the top priority. Because I have seen when I was lecturing at Kashmir, usually with the Kashmiri Pandits, though they have every privilege, but what they have gone through will never get out of their psyche. That somewhere remains. The pain will remain somewhere inside. So like there should be a great compassionate way to deal with it, and political class should at least know about all these things rather than making just a political statement, or rather making it a more like. Recently I was listening to Arun Sauriji. He said that the kind of country what we are going through here, it is today as if जो hyperbole so nihal, whosoever is speaking loudly is being listened, who is speaking like in a very compassionate way is never getting listened to the great power, great chairs of power from Delhi. So it's a kind request, go through the manuals. If you are dealing with Tamilians, you have to see the soft corners, you have to heal them. And that's the healing touch will always come from great personalities. So you have to discover certain great persons. Like I remember when dealing with George Sahab, like here Mr. Vaiko used to deal a lot, especially he was the bridge between LTTE and George Fernandez. So Sri Lankan government, they themselves have a lot of problem at that point of time. So now Sri Lanka, when Sri Lanka itself, they have destroyed themselves with the Chinese presence. This is what we were discussing. So if LTT is gone from Sri Lanka, you have the Chinese presence, which is very potential threat to India. Like if you are selling your establishment, if Sri Lankans are selling their establishment to China, then that itself is a big threat to India. So India somehow has to support and celebrate the very spirit of Tamil Ilam. If India is not supporting Tamil Ilam, you have to see that Chinese establishment will be somewhere very closer to us. The whole ports are already gone to China. You can see like there are a lot of ports of Sri Lankan which is already tendered to them. So like the whole establishment need to really be careful about it. And when it comes to Tamil Ilam, I must say that we not only like the BJP, yes, not only the BJP, we need more great support from other parties, especially from opposition and all. Like it is not a theatrical show, it is the lives of millions and millions of people. So it should not be like Kashmiri Pandits. Like you can see what we have done with Kashmiri Pandits. They are still, day before yesterday, there was a Pandit who was killed on the very, like in the very, in his own hometown. So people who are seeking their shelter, again, they are also facing a lot of problems. The same thing will go with Tamils. So you have to be quite careful, and it is very sensitive topic because now, like if Sri Lanka is facing such crisis, Tamilian must start to have a dialogue. So like there should be a dialogue, and this is why like Annamalai sir is here. He should convey these things to the government. Like he is part of the establishment, he is the party. So it's a kind request to have all these things on board. More than that, I must say that it's a very like thing which I wanted to say. I have said it to a lot of Kashmiri Pandits as well. They want to vanish you, they want to destroy you, but they can't destroy your literature, they can't destroy your arts. And this is something which is again relevant with the Tamils. Doesn't matter whether you are at your homeland or not, but the literature, the great artistic excellence that you have achieved is being highly revered, is the syllabus, is the part of academia all over the world. So be with it, be with the excellence, get into academics, get into everywhere, and this is something excellent. Anyway, Tamil people are already doing great achievement in academics. So you have to also be somewhere in the whole creative process, but also at the same point of time with political forces. I must say that lot of opposition should be here rather than only BJP. It should be more cordially all party event rather than just one party event. I think lot of opposition parties should be on board to keep the Tamil Ilam demand with a very fruitful, which is a very legitimate demand. It goes 200 years back. Like I have seen the history of Tamil. Like it is the jealousness of history is being time and again repeated. It doesn't matter whether you are in Tamil Nadu or you are in Kashmir. So you have to fight the evils out of them. And like with Sri Lanka, they have already destroyed themselves economically. You should be better thankful to China. Like, but then at least now there should be dialogue. There should be something which compassionately which should deal with all these. I really miss especially people like Sri George Fernandez. Sir has yesterday told me even Vaiko sir is not keeping well. So there is a lot of problem. Aging of legend is there. But then we have completely a new age of people who is coming. So I must be thankful and I must pay my greetings to Anna Malaiji to be here. Especially he is the part of government, he is the part of establishment and he is the party, he is the custodian of party here. He should take the charge and there should be a dialogue with Sri Lanka in this situation of crisis. With all these, I wish to end my conversation. Thanks a lot.